high-voltage explosive tension. Ex-pros fuel Coco Gauff. Iga Swiatek animosity ahead of Australian Open. Iga Swiatek and Coco Gauff renewed their rivalry at the United Cup, where the American claimed the latest bragging rights with a commanding 6-4, 6-2 victory in Sydney. Not only has Gauff beaten Swiatek 4 straight times now, but she has also done it in straight sets every single time. The first player ever to achieve that against the pole. In fact, Swiatek once dominated their H2H against Gauff, 11-1, but over the last year and a half, that gap is closed to 11-5. It certainly indicates the formation of a new rivalry. And as per some former pros, there have been many memorable rivalries in women's tennis, but none may be evolving as quickly or as dramatically as Gauff versus Swiatek. On a recent episode of the Nothing Major podcast, Sam Querrey said, "There's a little rivalry going on between Coco and Iga. I love it." Hearing this, Steve Johnson questioned whether this matchup was truly a rivalry. Jack Sock didn't hesitate. She, Coco Gauff, has won 4 in a row against her, Iga Swiatek. Querrey then doubled down, drawing attention to the simmering tension he senses on court. There's just a little animosity between the two, and it's like making for a great little rivalry. With the main draw action of the 2026 AO about to begin, anticipation is building. Both players arrive in Melbourne with something to prove. Coco Gauff's best performance at the AO has been reaching the SF in 2024, while Iga Swiatek has reached the SF twice, but she has yet to reach the final here in Melbourne. As per the draw, there is no chance of these two facing each other before the final. The animosity is brewing, and the fans are waiting to see them take on each other once again on a grand stage. But the recent results of their face-offs make us wonder how Gauff suddenly managed to turn things around against the pole. Tennis experts analyze Coco Gauff's recent dominance over Iga Swiatek. Coco Gauff has flipped the script on one of the most challenging matchups of her young career, and her recent dominance over Iga Swiatek has now become the talk of the town in the tennis world. Gauff's former coach, Brad Gilbert, who guided her during her breakthrough win against the pole at the 2023 Cincinnati Open, has weighed in on the tactical and mental evolution driving this reversal. Playing with more belief, obviously. Now, versus Iga, she seems to be able to break down her forehand. Probably the biggest thing is not feeling the need to press early in points. But not only Gilbert, but also the 4-time major champion Kim Clijsters also offered a complimentary perspective, praising the tactical variety Gauff brought into their recent matchups. According to Clijsters, it's not just power or consistency that is giving Gauff the edge. It's unpredictability. With Iga Swiatek often positioned far behind the baseline, Gauff's willingness to mix in sudden soft-touch shots kept the pole constantly guessing. All credit to Coco there. She's really found a game plan that really works against Iga, and I think it's also become a little bit of a mental bonus on Coco's side. As the tennis world watches closely, one question looms over their potential next meeting. Is Coco Gauff truly turning this into a rivalry, or will Iga Swiatek find the answers to swing the momentum back her way? The post-Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek's animosity draws attention from ex-pros before Australian Open appeared first on Essentially Sports. As the Australian Open 2026 approaches, the women's draw is already crackling with tension, but no storyline burns brighter than the growing rivalry between Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek. What once appeared to be a respectful competition between two generational talents has now evolved into something far more complex, emotional, and combustible. And now, former tennis professionals are stepping into the spotlight, adding fuel to the fire. With pointed comments, strategic breakdowns, and subtle provocations, ex-pros have transformed a quiet rivalry into one of the most anticipated psychological battles in modern women's tennis. As Melbourne Park prepares to host another Grand Slam, the question isn't just who is the better player, but who will break first. A rivalry born from greatness. Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek represent the future and present of women's tennis. Swiatek, the Polish powerhouse, has built her legacy on ruthless efficiency, tactical mastery, and a near-machine-like consistency that once made her seem untouchable. Gauff, the American phenomenon, brings explosive athleticism, emotional intensity, and a fearless mentality that thrives under pressure. For years, their rivalry simmered beneath the surface, Respectful, controlled, professional. But that era may be over. The ex-pros speak and the tone changes. In recent weeks, several former Grand Slam champions and elite WTA veterans have openly dissected the Gauff-Swiatek matchup on television panels, podcasts, and pre-AO media events. Their words were analytical on the surface, but unmistakably provocative underneath. One former world number one remarked, "Coco no longer fears IGA. That's dangerous for Swiatek." Another added, "When pressure hits, Coco feeds off chaos. IGA prefers control. Australian Open chaos favors Gauff." These weren't throwaway comments. They were psychological grenades thrown into an already tense rivalry. From respect to rivalry. Early in their careers, Gauff often spoke of Swiatek with admiration. IGA, in turn, praised Coco's maturity and athleticism. Their on-court meetings were competitive but cordial. But as Gauff's confidence surged, especially after a breakthrough Grand Slam triumph, the balance shifted. Matches became tighter. Body language changed. Celebrations grew louder. Post-match handshakes felt colder. And the tennis world noticed. The tactical war. Why ex-pros are picking sides. Why some believe Gauff has the edge. Former players argue that Coco Gauff's evolution has exposed subtle cracks in Swiatek's dominance. Key points they highlight. Gauff's improved serve now neutralizes Swiatek's aggressive returns. Her speed and defensive recovery extend rallies beyond IGA's preferred rhythm. Coco's willingness to embrace pressure contrasts with IGA's need for structure. One ex-pro analyst stated, "When rallies get messy, Gauff becomes more dangerous. That's not IGA's comfort zone." Why others still back Swiatek? On the other side, many ex-pros warn against underestimating Swiatek's championship DNA. They point to her unmatched point construction, her ability to suffocate opponents tactically, her experience dismantling aggressive players with precision. A former Slam finalist countered, "If Swiatek controls the first 4 shots, Gauff doesn't get to play her game." Australian Open conditions, a psychological battlefield. Melbourne is unlike any other Grand Slam. The heat, the noise, the extended rallies, the late-night matches. Former players emphasize that the Australian Open isn't just a test of tennis skill. It's a test of mental elasticity. And this is where the rivalry intensifies. Gauff thrives on emotional momentum. Swiatek thrives on predictability. Ex-pros argue that Melbourne's unpredictability could tilt the scales. Subtle jabs, loud silence. What's made this rivalry even more compelling is what hasn't been said. In recent press conferences, Gauff carefully avoids praising Swiatek directly. Swiatek answers Gauff-related questions with clip precision. Neither acknowledges the rivalry, but neither denies it. Former players see this as intentional. Silence is part of the chess match. One ex-pro noted, "They're already playing mind games." The moment everything changed. Many insiders trace the tension back to one pivotal match, where Gauff refused to retreat, matched Swiatek's intensity point for point, and celebrated with raw emotion. That match didn't just change results. It changed belief. From that moment on, Gauff stopped chasing Swiatek. She started challenging her. Why this rivalry matters to women's tennis. Ex-pros aren't just stirring drama for clicks. They argue this rivalry represents something deeper. This is youth versus dominance, freedom versus structure, emotion versus control. And it's exactly what women's tennis needs. Rivalries create eras. Eras create legends. Potential AO 2026 collision course. If the draw aligns a Gauff, Swiatek showdown could occur deep in the tournament, possibly a semifinal or final. Former players agree. It would be the match of the tournament. It could define the season. It may permanently shift the balance of power on the WTA Tour. One former champion put it bluntly, whoever wins that match owns 2026. Inside the locker room, respect or resentment, despite public professionalism, ex-pros hint that the locker room dynamic is changing. Gauff is seen as a rising alpha. Swiatek is no longer untouchable. That shift changes everything. In tennis, belief spreads faster than rankings. Mental warfare. Who breaks first? Former players unanimously agree on one thing. This rivalry won't be decided by forehands or footwork alone. It will be decided by handling momentum swings, managing crowd energy, surviving long, brutal rallies, responding to adversity. Melbourne exposes mental weakness like no other slam. The stakes are higher than a trophy. For Gauff, a win would confirm her arrival as the tour's emotional leader. For Swiatek, a win would reassert control and silence growing doubt. For tennis, a new iconic rivalry would be born. Final word, a storm is coming. As the Australian Open draws closer, one truth becomes unavoidable. This isn't just another matchup. This isn't just analysis. This isn't just media hype. This is explosive tension, crafted by competition, sharpened by commentary, and ignited by former champions who know exactly what pressure feels like. Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek, Melbourne, something is going to break, and the tennis world will be watching. Tennis Fire, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.